Contrary to popular belief, my decision to not outwardly show my face on my channel or my other platforms has nothing to do with my appearance, or at least my opinion of my appearance. I would actually consider myself to be relatively attractive. Is that a fat black with a drop of self-confidence? Who the The reason I decided to keep my face away is simply just because I felt like it. Nothing more, nothing less. But seriously, this is literally just what I look like most of the time. And you know, it also saves me time while animating because the eyes and the eyebrows and I'm just lazy, okay? I'm just lazy. But I say this now because it wasn't really relevant up to this point. However, this story actually directly involves my face. So in order for me to accurately tell it, I'm gonna be looking like this. This story takes place during my first semester of college. And yes, I went to college. We'll call it BSU for bullshit! Even though I went for a semester and some change, I still consider my college experience to be very fulfilling. So fulfilling, in fact, that I have a really good story that I'm saving for when we hit a milestone that happens during my final week of college, right before dropping out. And yes, I totally dropped out to become part of the YouTube Cool Kids Club, and not because the shift from in-person to online classes during COVID affected me so badly that I ended up failing all my classes during quarantine and losing all my scholarships, forcing me to drop out. Totally not the reason. Regardless of all the bullshittery, I actually did have a really good time and made a few new friends. And with those new friends, we did new things together, including a school-wide event that we'll call Colorfest. This was a fundraising event that was advertised to be one of those things where you wear all white and throw paint at each other. The flyers looked super cool, so the group and I decided to check it out. Now, we went with a rather large group, but the only ones that are important to this story are Kay and Monmons. Now, I want you to remember Monmons because she will be appearing in a lot of my stories in the future, including the one that I mentioned earlier and another big one I have saved for another milestone. So anyway, we all meet up in our friend Vicky's dorm before heading over there, because she had a pretty big suite and her roommate was gone for the night. But upon arrival, it ended up being more like a mini concert where every 2 minutes they would spray paint into the crowd. They also had this like water slide, but like with paint on it, and you had to donate $5 to ride it, but I was broke and I was not getting my hair wet, so that was a no. On the stage they had buckets filled with neon paint, and they had those pool toys that like little kids would use to spray water at each other to spray the paint into the crowd. Okay, before I continue, I have to say this. It's important, trust me. One thing to remember about me is that when it comes to flirting, I am the worst person on the planet. I can never tell when a person is flirting with me or not. It has happened multiple times where I would have an interaction with the person, and a friend would say something along the lines of, "I think they like you," or, "Oh, they were definitely flirting with you." And I'd be completely oblivious the whole time. You can look me in my face and say, "Hey, I like you and I want to take you out on a date." And I, without zero thought, would reply, "No, you don't." Without even thinking about it. Seriously, y'all, I have a problem. I don't know why I'm like this. But I say this because while my friends and I were jamming, I noticed a boy from across the crowd looking directly at me. And I don't know what it was, but something about the way he was looking at me, I could tell he had some kind of interest. And when I say if I could tell he was into me, then it was insanely obvious to anyone else who noticed him. Coincidentally, he had a friend that was close by that caught Monmon's attention, so she noticed the way old boy was looking at me right before I did. We would see them look at each other and talk to each other every so often, and they would see us do the same, you know, stupid 18-year-olds being stupid 18-year-olds. We continued this little song and dance every few minutes until a good song would come on, and we'd forget about them and just jam to whatever was playing. Keep in mind, they would spray the paint right before a song and during it, depending on how lit the crowd would get. So the more lit the crowd was, the more often they'd spray the paint. I forgot what song started playing, but I remembered the crowd was jumping, and we made eye contact again. And y'all, when I tell you, this felt straight out of some corny ass romance movie from like 2007. The noise from the crowd faded. The music felt louder, and it was just the two of us. And then it happened. Suddenly, everything goes dark, and I feel a strong burning sensation in my left eye. Confused, I grab Mon's shoulder, and we both fall to the ground. The burning sensation gets stronger, and my sight gets weaker and weaker. I go to touch my eye, and when I look at my hand, I see nothing but neon green. The paint from the spray guns had hit me directly in the face. And not only did the paint from the spray guns hit me directly in the face, but I watched this cute boy watch me get hit directly in the face. Y'all, I can't tell you why the this stuff keeps happening to me. Like, I just be existing and life just decides I need to be humbled. Kay saw the whole thing, so her and Mon helped me up, and the three of us head out to an empty space outside of the crowd. But before that, I try to sneak a quick. Okay, sure you did. But before that, I tried to sneak a quick glance at where the boy was, but him and his friend were both gone. When we got to the empty space, Mon pulls out a mini water bottle from her mini backpack and uses it to rinse out my eye. Luckily for me, at this point, everybody had just about had their fun. What the was that script writing? Luckily for me, everybody had just about had their fill, so we all decided to head back to Vicky's dorm just to have some time to ourselves and clean up. And that's exactly what we did. We chilled, we sat down and talked a little, I got roasted. Then one by one, everybody started to go home. And that's about it. When I tell you, this was one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen to me. I mean that. Like, the last story was probably top 5, but this one is definitely top 3 for show. Maybe even 2. And I think the worst part was when the group and I were heading back to Vicky's dorm, I saw the 2 guys walking a ways ahead of us, and I saw them look back at us, look at each other, and laugh. Yeah, that one stung. And I don't think anybody else noticed them either, which makes it, like, even worse. I don't have a moral for this story, so I'm just gonna read you guys a Snapple fact. Mangoes can get sunburn. Nice. So I definitely just lied to y'all. This story is not number 2 on most embarrassing stories I have. You wanna know why? Because I just got done recording the number 2 slot for most embarrassing story, and that story is way more embarrassing than this one. I actually didn't realize how embarrassing it was until I sat down to record it. That's also my first unscripted recording I did, so it's gonna be like a little bit all over the place. But yeah, that one is arguably a lot worse. I was talking to my little sister, and she told me that she thinks that this next story should be in my number 1 slot, but I have a reason why this one's a secure number 2 and the number 1 is number 1. But yeah, this one's number 3. Embarrassing, yes, but it gets worse. Like, I promise you guys, I don't do it on purpose. This is just my life. It just be happened to me. I just be fighting demons, but that's fine. Cause you know why? I wouldn't be able to give y'all some fire content if I didn't have some fire life. I don't. But really, no, I really hope you enjoyed the video. This one was super fun to make. Like, it was super cringy to do. It was super cringy. I would have taken less time animating it if I didn't spend like half of it literally cringing at the frames, y'all. Like, it was embarrassing. It was super embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know when the next video is gonna be up. I'm gonna take my time on this one too. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm rambling. I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, bye. I love y'all.